Hi there, I'm GeoDav, and in this, my very first Blender tutorial, we're actually going to start with one of the nastiest parts we do as modelers in the 3D world, and that is going to be UV mapping. Now, as you can see in the video here, we have got a very nice weapon supplied to me by Scott Ellison, and if you don't know what it is, it's a plasma cannon. Okay, so where do we start? Well, start off on the simple things, he said. Okay, so what we're going to do, well, I say simple things, is start on this highlighted section here, this semi-cylindrical item. So what we're going to do is just go along and hide all the other bits. Scott's been very nice to me and actually left the bits all separated. So I'm very quickly clicking my way down here. There's probably a faster way to do this, but I'm not very good with Blender, so you're going to have to bear with me. Okay, so what we do, well, first thing, I don't like working in a single view, so go on to quad view, and let's see if I can get this. It's doing it to me again. Now why? Shift, middle button, there we go. Now I'm not very good, I just mentioned I'm not very good with Blender, and I'm going to have to at some stage get my head round it, I think, but I'll just live with it at the moment and put up with me burbling at you. Okay, so what we're going to do, Blender does have some fairly nice UV mapping tools. Not what I quite was hoping for, but it's free, so you got to take the rough with the smooth. And realizing that the programs that I've used in the past have actually had the UV tools expanded by very good users, which gives me lots of buttons to press and makes things a little bit cluttered, but helps me greatly. Unfortunately, I don't have that option at the moment with Blender, so we're going to have to live with it and get on with it. Right, when let's get this ball rolling. When you're doing UV mapping in Blender, once you have modelled a section, and I advise to any modeler, once you're happy with a certain piece, UV map it. And this gets very important the larger models get. So, as in this case, I've been given the complete model, which has been broken down. We'll just do one section at a time. Now, I'm not going to do every section on a video, but the different types. In this case, a cylinder. So, what do we have to do to UV map a cylinder object in Blender? Well, the first thing we have to do is select the seams. Now, to get the seams, what we have to do here is go into edit mode. Right, yeah, smashing. See lots there. Now we go into edge mode. That's this one down here. Edge select mode. Now at the moment you can see all these edges are selected there. Now doesn't matter what I click, nothing happens. Well, just about, because it's managed to select one of the other edges which I didn't want, but hey. Right, what we have to do is hit A, and that'll deselect everything. Now if I hit it again, it selects everything. So first hit deselects. Now one of the good little bit, well, I say good little bits, it's annoying for me because I don't like hotkeys, but Blender works with hotkeys, so we'll have to use it as much as possible, and I'll try to remember to tell you exactly what I am doing. Now, one of the little tricks in Blender is that anybody who uses it a lot will know, if you right click and hold in the Alt key, then we'll select a loop. So holding Alt, right click on that one, and that now selects the loop around that end. Now more hotkeys. Control E brings up the edges menu, and go on mark seam. Okay, so what I'm basically doing, I'm splitting the top I'm going to split the bottom and then cut the cylinder in half. Okay, hit A to deselect, Alt right click gets that top end, Control E, mark seam. Now this is where I get my things in a twist. Now what I want to do is along the top and the bottom is create a seam, so when we unwrap it I get two halves, which I will eventually stack on top of each other. But to do that first, Alt right click. Now as you can see it's gone from the bottom to the top, but we can live with that at the moment. Mark that seam. Now if I'm looking, hit Alt A again to deselect. Luckily it's gone to the bottom this time. Control E, mark seam. Now you think we're done? Well, unfortunately no, because what would happen if we UV map it now, these end pieces will come into sort of like two hemispheres, or two half circles I should say. So what we're going to do is try and right click on it, Control E, clear seam, hit A to make sure it has, right click on it, Control E, clear seam, hit A. Now here's the bit that really does my head in. I want to tumble on that object, which I still haven't worked out how to do, so I'm just messing about here. Try to get an angle where I can't select anything else. Zoom in. I'm getting a little bit better. Alright, click on that, Control E, clear seam, click on that, Control E, clear seam, hit A, and we're happy. Well, I am. You might not be, but I am. But anyway, what we've done is basically cut this section out, the top, the bottom, and the cylinder in two halves. Now what we do now is go up here, choose screen layout, click on that, and go into UV editing. Now you're not going to see a lot here, which is fine. I'm trying to, no, wrong, that one. I'm shift middle button, which I think I've got pretty much to the zoom extents on this, which is why it's not going very far when I'm moving. Okay, anyway, now what we have to do to UV map it, well, we want something to so we can see what we're doing, so we're going to apply an image. Okay, click on new on this side, go OK, fine, that's one applied. Yeah, really? Not yet. Click on image, open, and go wherever to yours is. Blender has one, quite a nice one, but I like using mine, which is my UV layout JPEG. Now open that, and we can't see anything. Now if I remember rightly, if I go on here and go into textured, we don't get anything. Okay, I've missed a stage there somewhere, but let's get on with it with the UV mapping. I thought I'd sorted myself out on that, but obviously not. Alright, so what do we do now? Alright, here we go, toggling between edit and object mode. Object mode isn't going to help us at all. Back into edit mode, and making sure we have either edges or faces selected. Well, I'm in edges, so we'll just leave that as it is. Hit A to select all, and oh, that looks different. And now what we do is hit unwrap, just select normal unwrap, and there we get this bit. Now as you can see, unfortunately for some reason the two halves have not been UV mapped the same, and I say unfortunate because that means a lot of work for me. But what we're going to do is go on to this little button down here, island selection mode, which makes things a lot easier because you just right click on it, hit G for grab. I'm learning. put that one over there. Now why do we put it over there? Well, that is actually the bottom face that when we're finished we will delete from the actual model, because it's not seen at all. Okay, now you might ask why. In gaming terms, if you can't see it, remove it, because it's just using up computer and, well, CPU and GPU processing for no result. Okay, so but because Blender doesn't like UV mapping open meshes, we'll leave it in there and then take time later to remove all these extra faces, so that when we have the UV map finished, there'll be nothing outside the square and everything will be in there. Okay, so looking at my timing, I've got a couple of minutes I think. So what we'll do is right click on there, press R. Now there's no, that's no, I'm sure I pressed R there. So press R again. That's better. Get it to, I would have thought there'd be an angle snap somewhere, but there probably is, and I don't know how to do it. But okay, that's close. Right, just put a G on it and we'll put that there. Now what I would like to do, believe it or not, is actually press G, put it over there, slap it on the top, and everything would be the same. But unfortunately, because the way the UV map has done it, it hasn't. Okay, so I think I'm getting close to me 15 minutes here. We'll just leave it at that for the moment. A quick run through is do the outside edge on both the cylinders, split it in half, and then hit the UV wrap, and the parts that you're not going to see, just move out of the way, because you don't want them cluttering up your map here. Now in the next video we're going to see about overlaying, or what the pros call stacking, the UVs together, which then saves space overall. Okay, so I'll see you for that very soon. Bye bye now.